October 25th through November 1st, 2019, Mobility Week. Deputy Mayor Warner.
Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and read this into the record. Is there anybody here from Space Coast Area Transit or the Planning Agency? Okay. Proclamation. Whereas Mobility Week is a cooperative effort by the Florida Department of Transportation and its partner agencies to promote awareness of safe multimodal transportation choices by hosting an annual collection of outreach events, and whereas Mobility Week is an ideal time for counties, cities, and transportation agencies to highlight transportation achievements, roll out new initiatives, and/or implement new policies, and whereas Mobility Week is also an opportunity for individuals to explore the various transportation choices available to them and think about how multimodal transportation reduces traffic congestion, benefits the environment, and improves community health, and whereas Mobility Week is consistent with Space Coast Transportation Planning Organization's key priorities of promoting travel alternatives and encouraging pedestrian and bicycle safety. Likewise, the week-long celebration is also consistent with Space Coast Area Transit's key priorities of providing quality transportation services that meet the needs of the public and enhance the quality of life of the community. And whereas Mobility Week supports the Space Coast TPO's initiative of Vision Zero, the actions taken to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes in all road users, and to support safety in Brevard County's transportation system. Now, therefore, Mayor Jake Williams Jr. of the City of Cocoa, and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Cocoa, hereby proclaims the week of October 25th to November 1st, 2019 as Mobility Week.
Oh, thank you.
All right, good job.
Okay. We got going to our delegations. We have no one else in the awards and presentation delegation. We have Mr. Reverend J.B. Dennis. You got, come up, state your name, address, and
Good evening, everyone. Reverend J.B. Dennis, 3710 Catalina Drive. The reason I'm in here tonight because of ineffective patrolling. In our city, violent crimes is on the rise because of ineffective patrolling. I just passed a hot spot tonight where a person was shot there in Peachtree Street at Baldhead Store. 13 drug dealers standing out there when I passed by at 5:15. When I got to my church at 5:30, I had 10 people on the wall getting high and drinking. I called the police and tell them they're on the north side of the building. They show up on the south side of the building. By the time they got to the north side, most of them gone. See, this kind of policing is just ineffective, and we need to do better. We do surveys. We go from door to door in the city and the county and ask the people in the community who pay taxes and vote, what are your will? And the will of the people is we need to do better in our city because we're not progressing. There are some people sitting up in here tonight that have been here since 1999 with those 30-year ideals, and Cocoa is not moving forward. So the will of the people, when we bring another police chief in here, we want them from another county or another state. And that goes for the city manager also. Another county, another state. No in-house promotion till we get this place moving forward. Thank you.
thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you.
Next, we have Donna Kettner.
Good evening, council members,
Good
mayor.
evening.
I came here tonight just to see what the other meeting was going to be about. And of course, you know, all I can say is I've been waiting for a parking garage for going on almost 40 years now. Parking is a major problem in the downtown. You're going to lose businesses like mine and similar to mine because people are fed up with no parking. When I see that a civic center is going to get jumped in before a parking garage takes place in the 40 years I've been down here, I think it's very sad. I can count on 10 fingers how many parking studies there have been in 40 years. Many. A lot of wasted money. When you run your own business, you have to be very careful of how you spend your money to make your money. And I wish the city would know how hard it is to make a dollar, rather than depending upon taxpayer dollars to pay for things that need to be paid for. But a couple of things I just wanted to say real quick that was on, okay, as far as safety, you're right. I've watched the village. I mean, I think we need cameras. I'm installing cameras in my business. There is crime on the rise. There's graffiti all over our parking benches. There's a tree that stands before the ice cream shop that I've seen 3 generations climb that tree and have their ice cream. It is completely covered in graffiti. It's not what people want to see when they come to a historical cocoa village. There's planters that have not been, there hasn't been a seed or a flower planted in it in 2 years. I plant my own flowers in front of my store. The one in front of Pub Americana that the city put in planters has not been planted for 2 years. I'm just waiting to see how long it will. I'll fall over backwards when I see that something's been beautified. Skateboarders you are gonna get sued. People are gonna get hurt on the streets in the village. They are going so fast down the sidewalks with skateboards right now. We used to have no skateboards allowed. It's crazy. I think we really have to work on infrastructure before we talk about millions of dollars being spent on another civic center that's not really being used properly as it is. The waterfront is what kept me alive in a business here. When we had Whitley's Marina, those people who came here, who shopped with me, bought condos here. Those are the customers who stayed here, who came to this area because of its charm. You are going to lose those people. They are going to move elsewhere because they're seeing what I have seen. A real bad, how can I explain it? Take pride in where we live. It's so important. This is where we live. This is our community. Let's make it beautiful. Make other people want to come here and live. Please. It's our job as a community of people who live here and work here to care about how it is protected. And it's not being protected. It's not. Please, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Tamika Martin. If you can come up and say your name and address and.
Good evening. My name is Tamiko Martin. I live at 1115 Kirkland Drive, Cocoa, Florida. Basically, I'm here. I guess I'm sure everyone already knows about all the murders and crime that's going on in this community. I was born and raised here, and starting from the year I graduated from high school in 1990, the murders have just been moving up and up and up. I've had relatives, I've had friends, close companions that are murdered because of the crime that is just growing and growing, and I'm just over it. I have grandchildren now. I have 2 grandsons, and I want to give them an opportunity to be raised in a peaceful environment where I don't have to worry about me or my grandbabies getting shot and killed and all that. Now, on to what I'm really wanting to talk about are these stores. Who needs milk and eggs at 2 o'clock in the morning at a corner store? Nobody. I drive by on Peachtree. That's my route to work, to and fro. Early in the morning, I go to work this morning, 7:30. There's probably about 8 people standing outside. The doors are wide open at this store. Nobody's inside. I'm driving by it purposely so I can see on the inside. So here's the owner or whomever he is. He doesn't live in this community, okay? He lives somewhere where he doesn't have to worry about being shot and killed, okay? So I'm driving by on my way to work this morning, and I'm looking, prostitutes and all that good stuff. So I remember a time when police would park. If the police would park, show their face, let them know that this is not acceptable. You cannot hang out, loiter, go home, go get a job, do whatever it is that you need to do. But when you have all these people that pile up and gather, whatever they're doing, selling drugs, whatever they're doing, what happens is it's intense environment. they start with fighting, and then when the fighting starts, they don't want to fight. Now they want to shoot. Now innocent people are killed, you know, and it's just, I am just so over it. But back to what I was saying about these stores. They're open too late. There's no reason for these. There's 3 of them in particular that I'm speaking in terms of. On Peachtree, and then the one on Fisk. The one on Fisk actually closes at a decent hour, I think about 11. But anyhow, why are these stores open until 2 o'clock in the morning? Is there something that we can move forward to doing about that? I don't know. That's why I'm here, to try to see how that works. I just, there's so much in my brain. I'm just trying to get it all out in my 5 minutes of fame
No, I
here.
know.
But I'm just, that's basically what I'm getting at. You know, like, I mean, if I move around at night, so I come home, my fiance and I would come home, the stores are open like 1:45 in the morning, and the parking lot is full. There's music, there's drug dealers, there's prostitutes. It is ridiculous. And this is not just one night a week. This is Monday through Sunday, all the time. And bad things happen to good people. Good people are in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's just the way that life is. That's the revolving circle of it. But I remember a time where I would drive by one of those stores, because it's like they never go away. They just keep multiplying in this community. And lo and behold, the police would be parked. And what would happen? They scatter like wet rats.
Yeah.
They're not there. They're gone. You know, I
Thank
mean,
you,
it's
ma'am.
like,
Your time is up. But
It is?
I got you, but I could tell
But
you
I'm
that
sorry,
I
okay.
know about the one that you're talking about, because I drive through there at least a half a dozen times, if not more, every day.
every day.
And the residents know me because I stop in there, talk to some of them, and I stop in the park sometime and talk to some of the folks in the park. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay,
And
well,
we
thank you for
appreciate you coming
listening to me. I'm
forward.
sorry to
Yes,
hold
ma'am.
up.
No, you're fine.
You good.
You're fine. Miss Bernice Cox.
Good evening.
I have a little small residential issue. My name is Bernice Cox. I'm at 701 Aurora Street, Cocoa, Florida. In Pine Grove Park, we have a residential entrance wall. And the one at Exora and Rosalie Jones, a resident named George, I was trying to get his last name, requested it be redone a few years ago. And he also requested that drainage ditch that goes behind Exora be maintained. That has continued to be maintained. But the entrance sign across from my house at 702 Aurora, the city told me that was the builder's responsibility. The builder was probably old as me now when they built those homes. And they refused to do anything about that entrance. The wall is there, it just need to be, the name need to be put back on the wall. Because that's the entrance wall to Pine Grove Park. And I would like for you all to consider redoing that wall. I don't know how many years ago they did the one on Exora, but it was redone. I've had myself personally pressure clean that wall within the last year, thinking if I pressure clean it, they might repaint it, but nothing happened. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And also the wall on Aurora, I know we talked before about possibly putting letters back on that wall as well.
And I thought Diamond Square, once upon a time back then, was gonna do that one right there on Roselle Jones and Fisk, but I don't remember what happened with that. That was way back when.
Rosa Jones and Fisk did get redone at one time.
Yeah,
The Virginia
I
Park
thought,
sign,
yeah.
they did get redone. I think it was Diamond Square that needed to-
2005, it was Community Development Block Grant Funds we
Yeah.
used.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, Miss Monique Thomas.
Hello, everyone. I'm Monique Thomas. I live in Cocoa off of Clear Lake. I'm pretty much here for the same reason that Tamiko Martin just left here from. I've had a situation where I've had a lot of deaths, and one of them, a lot of them actually was just recent with the one that was at the store where the boy just got killed, which is my cousin's, my daughter's cousin. And my sister was murdered in 2014. And then my husband was murdered in 2017, shot in the back of the head after leaving Palm Bay, coming back here in Cocoa. And they got little clips of it on somebody's camera on the thing. But they don't, my problem is they don't solve enough of these cases or whatever. Like, I have called the detective that is over his case, and I realized that the detective that's over his case it's the same detective that is over a lot of these other murder cases. So I don't know if he have an overload or everything, but I just refuse to let this be a cold case. And I feel like even with the drug dealers and all of that is wrong and stuff like that too. But they were calling feds, DEA, and everything for drugs. Not that I'm downplaying that, because that's bad too or whatever. But they were calling all of that, for drugs and lock these people away. And they barely solve murders unless the family really, really involved in care or they catch it on camera. And when I talk to the detective, all I get from him is he don't know nothing or there's no one talking. And that's not acceptable for me, because no offense, even in the law or whatever and this and that, they will shake the whole town down about their family if it's a law officer or somebody in their family that they care about. And I love my family just like, everybody else. The law citizens people do too. And I just feel like, I don't know if he overwhelmed, but talking to him, it just seemed like it's just numb or whatever. Or it's just like, he's telling me that, he's dealing with this other murder case now and this and that or whatever. And, I'm just not willing to just let it just slide like that or whatever. I have heard different scenarios about what happened or whatever, and he don't call me back if he hear nothing about following up on any leads. And for him to tell me that, even with the murder that just happened with my cousin's daughter, and she's getting hit from both sides. This is affecting our family till we need counseling. I have not been the same since. I don't even come out my house. Everybody's a suspect to me. I don't know who did it. I don't know if I'm speaking to somebody that did that to my husband or what's going on or what. So I'm having a real difficult time. My kids are having a difficult time, and it's causing problems in the household when these murders don't be solved. And just like everybody else care about their family, I feel like they need to double down and, have that same passion for everybody else as they would for their, the people that they love just because they're police officers.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Oh,
And I just wanted to, I add something as you're going away that, the gentleman that just got shot, that was my late cousin, Aldo Ray's son. So I know, and I tell you, I sat down with the chief and the assistant city manager, and we had a discussion. And I know it's an ongoing case. So I think we need to just give it a little bit more time to see what's going on, because
that one there, what I'm
yeah.
talking about, my sister and my husband, both of those was on the news. It was Jonte Thomas. That one there was on the news.
Yes.
Both of them played out on the news. And so that's why I say we can hit from
Yeah.
both sides or whatever.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a lot. And it's not just they ripping people's hearts right out their chest, and it's causing problems with the kids and their fathers, and they're reacting out or whatever and
Yeah.
stuff. And I need counseling. I need help myself. I haven't been the same. And so this got to stop. Something needs to be done.
We
I mean,
hear
if they
you.
can call in
And-
the FBI and stuff for drug dealers and stuff like that, they need to call in the FBI, DEA, or whoever they need to call in to solve some of these murders.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Ms. Anita Gibson.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
Thanks for giving me the time, and I hope I don't run out of time. I won't go into long, exhaustive details about the murders or whatever. I want to speak specific to the murder of my son, December 9th, 2016, and I'm going to speak frank, open, and honest as to how I feel. I've been talking to the chief, who has been open with me in regards to the case. I've been talking to the detective. My number one thing is this: there must be something that we can do about these murders. Nobody feels safe anymore. daylight or dark. Nobody feels safe. I'm wanting to know what's the chain of command that we can get a cold case unit, not only say Cocoa, but Brevard County. So we as residents can see, okay, they're concerned about us. They're not just another black, I'm just gonna say it. They're just not another black drug dealer or black attached to a drug dealer situation that, hey, they're murdered, hey, go on to the next one. And I also feel that if you have a detective that's inundated with so many murders, that's not fair to him or to us. So my thing is, I want to know what is the procedure for a cold case unit. I had spoke to the chief on numerous times, and I was asking about a billboard that we can place in front of the Cocoa Police Department that gives the name of these people that have had unsolved murders. And I went so far as to say the ones that are listed, posted in the police department. And I said, I want my son's name and picture up on that. It's like, to me, the murders are just like, hey, buy one, get one free. It's nothing. It means nothing. So my thing is, I want to know about the billboards that could be put in front of the police department. I want to know what the chain of command is to get a cold case unit. I'm saying for Cocoa, but it could be Brevard County and so forth. I've been talking to Barb Bergen, and she's been giving me some ideas, but there's a chain of command. And the last but not least, but I want the pictures of the murdered victims, however, be posted. And we need to get an update to say, this murder from 1908 has been solved finally. We get nothing. We're like patrons or residents that swept under the carpet. They say the biggest voice gets the most attention, or the biggest, I forgot how it goes, the biggest can makes the most noise, you get the most attention. My number one thing is I leave this meeting right now, I'm going to get on my hands and knees and pray to God that we get something going that somebody can say, your children matter. Not the black children, the white children. Children matter.
Children general, yeah.
And I don't want to go race, but you don't see anything like on Cocoa Beach. That's our tourist area. That won't be like that, but you see the people that are being murdered, and you hear it. And so I just want somebody to do something, anything. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And next up, we have Rita Lennar.
Rita Lennar, I live at 1200 Clear Lake Road, Cocoa, Florida. And I'm here because I've been here several times, and none of y'all have listened to me. You've listened to the chief of police, but he's not accurate in what he's telling you. And a lot of this time that they're coming after me because I'm a terrible criminal. I'm an elderly, disabled female living in elderly housing, and I use a walker that was donated by a dead resident, and one of the other residents that's in a gang there calls the police, and 3 of them show up and spend a whole hour processing me and filing charges. That 3 hours and those 3 police officers could have been spending it on some of these murders instead of on me. Now, I'm facing charges for using a walker that was donated, and they accused me of stealing, and just because it's on video that I used it, they're calling it stolen. Now the state attorney's office is going to spend a bunch of time and money. I've been reaching out to the chief of police since 2014 about this gang. In fact, he's supporting the gang. He's not trying to solve the problem. You guys aren't listening to me. I've been here, you know me. I've been here many, many times.
Ma'am, I can assure you that I've listened to every word you've said.
Okay, but nothing's done. Nothing's done. Like I said, these people. Now, like I said, between the state attorney's office and the police officer responding to these constant calls that this gang is making, trying to drive me out because I know something that they don't want me to know, okay, could be spent for the murders. And Chief Cantaloupe won't return my phone calls. He won't even talk to me in a respectful way. That lieutenant back there called me up and screamed at me and wouldn't answer my question when I asked him, well, what do I do to appeal this? He hung up on me. Then I get a letter from Lieutenant Duvall. I've called him about 10 times. I don't get a phone call back. But I'm tired of being ganged up on. And this is an elderly housing. It's not even out on this bad streets. So I would really like for you guys to pay attention to what I'm saying about the Cocoa Police Department needs help. The chief of police needs help.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, that was our last delegation card. Gonna move on now to
Reports.
I don't need, we're gonna move on now to our reports. Mr. Wheatgrass?
Yes, I don't have an official report. I would like to say this is my last council meeting. I've been proud to serve the city and serve a lot of great councils and, you know, people that have given their time, served with a lot of great co-workers and try to make the city a little better place. So appreciate it. So that's it.
Thank you, sir, for your service, and we just wish you well and hope you enjoy your retirement, and we hope you have many years of retirement where you can
Thank you.
relax and enjoy your family. Anyone else? Ms. Howell?
I don't, no report.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief?
No report, sir.
Thank you, sir. Chief?
He actually went a lot quicker than I thought. So, I just wanted to announce that we are starting to take donations for our annual turkey drive. The local firefighters union has been doing this for a while, so they are starting to do sign-ups November 1st. But if you're interested in donating turkeys that we will be giving back to families within our community, we are accepting those now. Lieutenant Single and driver operator Brian Ackerman have just done a phenomenal job with this program each and every year to reach out to our community and really give back to them, especially those that might need a lift up during the holidays. So it's just been a phenomenal program. They went up this year. Last year they collected 120. This year they're going to go up to 150. So we're really excited about that. I also would like to introduce Deputy Chief Sam Bird, who started with us on Monday. He is our new deputy chief. He comes from Melbourne Fire Rescue, where he served as a training chief. We're very excited to have him. He's got a nice wife. Her name's Melissa, and their daughter Alexa. So we look forward to what he's going to add to our organization and helping us just continue to move forward with the services that we provide here to the city. So we're very excited to have him. And then last but not least, Ms. Brenda, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to steal a little bit of your thunder, but I appreciate Chief Cantaloupe inviting us out to the K-9 competition. This was the first year that I actually was able to go out there, and what a phenomenal job they do putting that together. Great community event, but even for the families, you know, all the kids that were out there and actually got to see what our K-9 units do from not only in the city, but other parts of the country, really. So great event, very well attended, put on, and I'm sorry, Miss Brenda.
No, that's fine.
But great job by Chief Cantaloupe and his crew on putting that together. It was really a good time.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Buck?
Thank you. I wanted to remind council about Habitat for Humanity's female veterans wall raising tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Whaley Street. This is the Veterans Village project, 6 houses. There are still 4 houses available, so if anyone knows any female veterans that would like to live there, we certainly would like to see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the wall raising.
Yes, ma'am. Could you expound on the national attention this is getting?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. They are actually going, Michigan Habitat International, the executive director, Mary Kelly, will be there, and she is going to talk to Habitat International about the project. They were very excited about it, and they want her to help them mirror it in other cities as well. So it's the first of its kind,
it
and
all
it's
started
here in
right here.
Cocoa.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. One item, just a reminder for anybody interested, there will be a utilities workshop on the 5th of November. So that'll start at 6 p.m. and it'll be in these chambers.
Okay,
That's
thank
awesome.
you, sir.
I just wanted to announce that the toy drive for this year, the applications start on October 28th in the city clerk's office, and we're accepting donations for toys.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Shealy. Wow. Mr. City Attorney. Thank you, sir. Assistant City Manager.
I have a couple of items. One may be covering something Councilman Goins can bring up, but October 29th, 6 p.m., right here in council chambers, it's the marijuana possession medical marijuana dispensary workshop right here in council chambers. Also, just want to update council on the Citizens Academy. We have a full class, and that's first class starts November 5th at 10 a.m. Right here, 9 a.m., right here in City Hall. And then last, I just, for those of you that don't know, Ed Weigriff joined the city of Cocoa in November of 1980. And he's served the city in many capacities, started in the water utility department, worked his way up from an engineer all the way to division manager and then the deputy director level prior to coming over to the public works side. And so his career spanned multiple areas of the city, multiple generations. He's seen a lot of changes, been involved with a lot of major projects that have impacted the lives of the citizens here in the city of Cocoa, but also those that live outside our borders that are provided our fine cocoa water. And so his 39 years of service certainly don't go unnoticed. And for those of you that would like to come by for the send-off, it's going to be October 31st, which is his last day of service, at 10 a.m. to noon. So anyone out there that would like to come by and wish him well, that's the time.
Yes, sir.
Right here in council chambers.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Councilman Bover.
Yes, Ed, I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you the last, I guess, 9 years that I've been on the council. And you've given me some good directions to go in and work good with me, so I'm very happy and wish you nothing but the best of luck in your retirement. And Deputy Chief, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. And Samantha, well, I don't know. You're okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
I just had a few things. The first thing is last night, just Chief Lamb, your fire department did an excellent job. I didn't really announce who I was. I just kind of wanted to sit back and see the movement. But the professionalism and the way that our victim advocate and the Red Cross handled that situation, man, it was awesome, man. So just kind of give them a pat on the back sometime. Maybe buy them all lunch or something. So I just want to say that. The citizen participation today was awesome. Definitely at the first meeting. I think we're not always going to agree on different decisions that we make, but I love hearing different opinions from all walks of life. Also, the store situation with Ballhead store. We have a lot of conversation about this store, and we have a lot of things in plan. A lot of things we'll be moving forward. I'm tired of it as well. Tired of funerals of young men at 35 and under, 40 and under, haven't really had a chance to really live life. Some get caught in bad situations. Some of them doing things they really have no business doing. But at the same time, we all are human. We don't deserve to be killed by the hands of anybody. So we are doing our best. And like I told Chief before, we have to put more pressure on these stores. We're going to be, I requested for our city manager and city manager to also bring in these store owners. If they refuse to comply, then we may have to do some other things of action. I don't know what legally, I don't know what that may be, but I'm willing to go to the door, whatever we need to do. Because when you have owners who don't really necessarily live in the neighborhood, they don't really have an vested interest in the community. They in there to make $1. They want to make, $2 on single cigarettes and selling food stamps or whatever else they do. But they don't really necessarily care about the community. They wipe the blood off the floor, and then the store is open at 8 o'clock in the morning for business as usual. I'm tired of it. So it's only so much that I can do physically, but I know as a community, if we come together, man, I will stand in front of the doorway and block people going in. I don't know what I need to do, but I know we got to do something.
That'll get you arrested.
We got to do something. You know, I might have to feel like Martin Luther King, get arrested or something. But it's just most of these people they're grown people. You know that. But we can't allow them to sit at these stores. We can't allow 15 or 20 people gather at stores. They're not holding hands praying. So police cars don't need to be riding by. Stop. You don't have to. Sometimes you don't even have to get out. Just make them uncomfortable. Go ask them how they doing. You'll be surprised how fast they take off. So like I told Chief plenty of times, I'm not a police officer. That's not what I do. But I do know people, and most people who doing crime, they don't like to see that badge. So we just need to do a better job and be more consistent. That's my thing. I believe we have done an awesome job the last 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I commended Chief on that. We have to just be a little bit more consistent. That's just my take on that. And we will do better. I believe that. We have a good community, as you can see. The people that came today to talk about it. The perception is when you see murder in the black community, you automatically assume that people don't care. And that's so far from the truth, because you have some awesome people that live on these same streets that have children that they can't even go outside and go play at a park. Imagine you having a 5-year-old child and you got to go to Rockledge to go get on the swing. I'm pissed off right now just thinking about it. Just think about it. You have to really take a 5-year-old child to Rockledge to get on the swing. It's emotional for a lot of people. Sometimes you get people in the community who might care, and they may just be doing a job. I don't know. I don't know what we need to do. But people like these are the people that get left behind. These are the people that nobody go check on. These are the people that after the funeral, it's over. You read about a newspaper, here go another thing again. We have to change the perception of Cocoa. Just the other day, I called Chief about the guy. He's standing on the corner again in front of Wawa. He go out there and beg for money, $30, $40 to go buy dope. This every day. Same person. We just got to do better. We have an awesome community. I love Cocoa. I love the diversity. We have so many different style of issues. You have people sometime in downtown, it may be worried about a homeless person, but then you got the people uptown worried about somebody getting shot in the head. The community is just so different. It's so different, but it's a beautiful thing when it all can come together. I believe in the city. I believe in our staff. I believe in our police officers. I believe in our fire department. I believe that we can do a lot better. And I know that police officers cannot change the world. They can't do everything. I understand that. A lot of these incidents are people that know each other. These are people that fight on Thursday and see each other on Saturday, and now all of a sudden they want to shoot each other up. So it's not the police fault. It's not their fault. We got to do a better job in the community. And that falls back on people like me. People like me, like who was elected to do a job. So I got to do my job. I got to do a better job. And every time somebody get murdered, I feel bad. I feel real bad. I got to go home. It's a big deal, man. I know some people go home and don't see none of this stuff. I call it the curtain. 520 is the curtain. There's so much stuff behind that curtain. Behind Wawa. Behind King Street Baptist. Behind O'Reilly's. It's a lot of great people, but it's a lot of things that get overlooked. We got to protect our community. So, Chief, I appreciate everything you're doing. So don't take it as, I know sometimes when people say certain things, it makes it seem like they're targeting you, but you the man. So when you the man, It come with all of that. so you are appreciated. I understand that. Okay. It's just that when people family get murdered, it's a difficult thing to deal with. I've never dealt with my family member getting murdered. I never dealt. So I don't know how that feels. But her husband was murdered 2 years ago, and you still see the effects of that right now. She just walked out crying. It's deep stuff. I get off my soapbox now, but I just,
No, we feel you.
I just know we just need to do a better job, and I need to do a better job at what I do to get more out there in the community. And police department, an awesome job in the elementary schools. That's where it really starts at. So y'all making great connections with those like Emma Jewel and Endeavor and Cocoa High School and other places like that. That's where it begins. But we have to do something about these stores. This is our biggest issue. The crime and the calls that we have right now logged in, probably 80% of the calls right now are probably coming from right in that Peachtree, Fern, and Prospect. So let's lock that down. That's our focal point. 524 have issues. Downtown have issues here and there. I get it. But that block is a major, major problem. Major problem. All right, I'm done. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. No, we appreciate it. Deputy Mayor Warner.
Unfortunately, I do know what it feels like to have a family member murdered. And it's been 20 years and it's still painful. And I have known Miss Anita Gibson since her son who was killed, since she was pregnant with him. And I have some understanding of the kind of pain that she's going through. Fortunately, we know who killed my family member. There are people in this community who know who killed her son.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can't step forward and give this family some relief, you know what's going to happen? It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you, and you're going to be in the same situation. You're going to lose a loved one. Somebody's going to know who killed them, and nobody's going to help you out. Because that's karma, and it comes back to bite you. If we want to clean up this community, we have to stand up for what's right.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to be scared. I lived next door to a drug dealer for 2 years who threatened to kill me when I turned him into the police department.
Wow.
I had to go to court with him. And 2 years ago, I ran into him on the street, and you know what he said to me? And I'll tell you, his name is Lamario Morgan. A lot of you probably know him. He went to high school with you. And you know what he said to me 2 years ago when I ran into him? He goes, I appreciate what you did for me.
Wow.
Because my life is so much better now than it was in those days. And he apologized to me for the 2 years of terror that I spent on Cypress Lane with him living next door to me. Step up.
Yeah.
If you want this community to change, the 5 of us cannot do it alone, and neither can the police officers in this community, no matter how hard they work or how dedicated they are. We have the same staffing on our police department today that we had in 1996. And in 1996, we were told, wow, you guys got a lot of cops in Cocoa. Well, you know why we had a lot of cops? Because we had a lot of crime. And even though the perception is that we have more crime today, we really don't. It's like Mr. Goins said, our crime is among people who know each other. If you're not involved in committing a crime in this community, if you're not dealing drugs, if you're not buying drugs, your chances of being a victim of a crime are not any worse than they are in any place else. But that still doesn't mean if you're buying drugs or selling drugs, it doesn't mean you deserve to die. You don't deserve to get shot over it. And if you look at statistics, yeah, it happens around these stores. We have a nuisance ordinance. But you know what it's going to take to shut these stores down? We can pass all the laws we want. But what it takes to shut down these stores is for people to quit spending their money there. You know what? Walmart's open all night. And they got security there. Nobody's going to shoot you in Walmart. Parking lot probably, because they got security. Stop spending your money with these people. There's plenty of good business people to spend your money with. Don't patronize these stores that are destroying our community. I didn't want to get off on this subject because I knew I wouldn't be able to do it without tears, because every time I see Anita, who I worked with for years, it breaks my heart to know that there's somebody in this community who knows who killed her son and doesn't have the guts to step up and say something about it. And I understand being afraid, but that's no excuse, because we're all going to live in fear until people take control of what goes on in this community. But I am going to move forward and say to Mr. Weigriff that I just realized when I got involved with the city of Cocoa, you'd already been here 16 years. And that's a full career for most people. I thought I'd been here a while. So thank you for 39 years. I think I've heard of one employee who had longer, and that would be Jim Frazier at the police department, who just hit 40. So you may not have a record, but you're probably really close. You and Mr. Toller, I know, are going to be very, very missed in your department. And I do wish you all the best, and I hope that you get to spend many, many years with children and grandchildren and doing all the fun things that you have not gotten to do while you serve this community. And I'll be by to say goodbye and hope somebody buys you a really nice cake, because 39 years deserves a really nice cake. And I would also like to say to the members of the community that when it comes to what goes on at these stores, that we don't always get support from other agencies that we need. Our police department can work a case and they can bring charges, and then we have a state attorney's office who doesn't file those charges or who thinks the case isn't solid enough for them to take it to court. So I know our police officers get frustrated because they do the hard work and then they have no support. And the same people who come in here and ask our police officers to step up need to be saying those same things to our state attorney's office. They need to step up too. If you look at the number of cases that our police officers take to the state attorney and the numbers that get prosecuted, you'd be in shock. And we support that office with our tax dollars just like we support our police department. So let's talk to them about stepping up and helping our community too. And I had some other things, like I wanted to talk about how wonderful the K-9 competition was and how hard the police department worked, especially the K-9 unit. And Lieutenant Markika, who really took one for the team and even had to get a needle to get through the day and get an IV of some fluids because he worked so hard and it was so hot in that bite suit. It was great. It was great to have visitors from foreign countries come to our event and have people from Georgia and all across the country come and participate. And hopefully next year it'll be even bigger and better. But everybody at the PD pitched in and worked really hard to make it a success, including the chief. So thank you all very much. And like Chief Lamb, I had a great time just watching the dogs work and watching the dogs look at their handlers and go, "You're a bit slow, come on." Because most of the time the dogs were finished long before their handlers were. So yeah, definitely. So thank you all very much. And that's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. You might need to talk to this guy right here.
One question. Chief,
Yes,
is
sir.
there a time limit if late they can sell alcohol?
2 a.m. That's why they're open 2 a.m. But they can, remember, a lot of those places are selling food and other items, so their main business isn't, they can sell alcohol till 2, but they can stay open 24 hours a day, basically, to sell anything else. I mean, there's not a time limit.
Thank you, sir. Is that it? I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna. I was over at a conference, a CRA conference over in Tampa. I'm gonna bring some more. I'm gonna bring that information back at our next council meeting because it's getting a little late. And then also, I'm not gonna talk about the many things that I've been doing over the last few weeks, which has been quite a bit. Sometimes I don't know whether I'm coming or going. But I do have a certificate here, partnership here. I was over today over in Orlando with the Eastern Central Florida Regional Resilient Collaboration Agreement that I was oversigning for the city of Cocoa, as well as many other mayors throughout the state, throughout Central Florida that was there. And I tell you, this is a great deal for us. It's great for our community, and hopefully we'll get this framed and put it in one of our, Samantha, we can get this framed and put up, and then I'll give you some, we got some pictures that we took while we were over there. We'll get those to you as well. So, but it's just, Chief, I know we heard a lot about the police department today. Don't take it personal. Please don't take it personal. We just know, and I know that we can do so much better than what we're doing. I know there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. I have a lot of respect for you guys. But my goal and our goal is, to make our city the best that it can possibly be, because I've lived here all my life, and I've seen a lot of changes, a lot of good changes, a lot of positive changes. But we need to take this city to the next level. It kind of reminds me of in certain pockets in our community. If you have a dirty room and you misplace something, it's almost impossible to find what it is, what's been misplaced in that room. But if you have a clean room and you know that it's clean, and if something's out of place, you know it right away. And we have some pockets in our city that you can't even tell what's going on because there's so much crap going on. But we, as a city, got to do our part. We got to clean up the blight. We got to maintain our streets. We got to have that level of equality throughout our city, so that we can move to that next level. And I think we're going to get there, and I believe we can get there if we work hard, if we all work hard together. It's not just our police department. It's something they can't do alone. It's not something the code enforcement can do. It's something that we got to do, and we got to set the tone and be that example, even with our employees. If you see something out there that's out of place, and if you can stop safely and pick it up, because you know what? When a resident see you do something like that, they're more apt to do the same thing if they see it, or they're more apt to talk about it and mention it to someone. And because I could tell you, Abby, and I believe it was Abby, she stopped to pick something up in the road one day in one of the city vehicles, and there was a gentleman that made sure he got a hold of me to let me know. He was so happy to see that from one of our employees, and we should all take pride in our city and then change the makeup and the perception of our city. We should be a leader in this county, considering that we got this massive water system that we have, but yet we have the issues that we have. We should be leading. We have so much to offer with our riverfront, our shopping centers, just everything that we have, the college, the solar center, the museums. We have so much to offer in this city, and we're not taking advantage of it. And if you look at Rockledge, Rockledge is just a housing division, just houses. Port St. John is just housing. We need to capture that, because to get to the Berry Islands, they have to come through the city of Cocoa. The folks coming from Orlando to get to Ron John, the beach side, they come through the city of Cocoa. We need to capture that and stop that, and take advantage of that with getting some nice restaurants here and so forth and so on. But anyway, the city needs to be a destination, but it's something that we together, all of us, was going to have to work to change. And then once we change that, then we can do our rebranding and move forward. And because it's nice, and I can tell you at the CRA conference, there was a gentleman from Apopka. He talked about the village. He loved the village. There were people there talking about our female veterans bill. I mean, it's amazing the people that are talking about the city of Cocoa. There are people there talking about the Cocoa High Chorus, and so we need to just start capturing this stuff and just let's make these changes that we need to change. I mean, it's been too long, and some of the same stuff, some of the same issues, and I know we can do it together. We can do it. So that being said, we're going to move on to public hearings, which we have none. So we got a consent.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is read.
Second.
We got a motion from
Let Alex have it.
Councilman Bover, a second from Deputy Mayor Warner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. We have no public hearing, so we're gonna move on to 8.3, which is our council business. Item number 1, community services.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is asking to seek council's direction to extend Resolution 2019-031, providing for a temporary waiver of building permit fees related to building or structural damage caused by the hailstorm that occurred on March 27, 2019, for an additional 90 days. As you will remember, on April 24th, council approved this resolution, which also had an option to extend the resolution for an additional 90 days if authorized prior to the expiration of the resolution. So as of October 15th, 641 hail damage related permits were issued with a valuation of over $7 million, and the fee waiver is currently at $68,287.35. So of the 641 permits, 634 were re-roofs, 4 screens, 1 window permit, and then 2 screen and window permits. For perspective, in Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Matthew, we had less than 300 permits issued. And so the hailstorm definitely did a lot of damage within the city, almost tripling what we would have on a normal hurricane. And this is in addition to the permits that we normally do in the Building and Permitting Division. So throughout this process, we have found that with the hailstorm, most of them are insurance covered, and so the contractors have been coming in, and they still have not been giving that discount, the fee waiver, to the actual property owners. They still have said that there is a cost to them coming in, completing the application, providing the product approval, and then also calling in for the inspections and being available for those inspections. So we have had some residents have asked us to try to help that, and we just haven't been able to. So at this point, staff is recommending that you would not continue with the waiver.
So you're saying that even though we've authorized a waiver, the contractors are still adding that cost into, and the insurance companies normally pay that cost anyway, so.
Correct. And
Okay.
we see that on our permit applications and on the proposals that are signed between the property owner and the contractor, that permit fee's already included in there. It's usually higher than what we even, what our permit fee is, because they cover their own costs.
So technically, the roofer is actually the one who's paying for the permit.
Correct.
And I can, just to add to that, I've been waiting now on 4 roofs. I'm waiting to get done, and they haven't even got to the permitting process.
I haven't done it either.
Because there's some insurance issues with the amount of money that was distributed. So, and I've been waiting for almost 4 months now, which is crazy. So,
Are you suggesting we don't approve it?
That would be staff's recommendation, yes.
Yeah, I think it's time to drop it. First of all, anybody who had damage from the hail should have already had that damage repaired. It's been since, what, March?
no,
Right.
it's quite a few of them, but I
So do we
understand.
make a motion?
Yeah.
Make a motion not to act on this movement?
Well, I think it says that they're seeking council direction.
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to extend that resolution.
Neither do I.
No, I mean, it's fine.
And then any permit applications that are currently in process, we will be waiving the fees for.
Do we get that in a motion, or?
What was the actual the date? Let me get my word.
October 24th,
October
tomorrow.
24th. Okay, all right.
Anthony, do we need a formal motion? Just don't vote on it.
No, it was said seeking direction, so does that need to be a motion?
Well, it expires
You don't extend it.
6 months after the effective date, March 28th,
Right.
correct? So it'll
March 24th.
It'll expire.
It'll expire
just
itself.
expire naturally.
Okay.
The council has the right to extend, but if the council takes no action to extend, then it expires.
Okay,
With no
Okay.
action?
let it expire.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
The second item is staff is seeking council's direction to provide a local government area of opportunity funding for one of the 2 applicants seeking the Florida Housing Finance Corporation's 9% low-income housing tax credit. Request for applications 2019-113. And so there is a 9% tax credit RFP out from the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. And there is a new qualifying criteria, which is called the local government area of opportunity. It can be in the form of a grant or a loan. Both of our applicants are seeking, and speaking with the city manager, a loan for the $354,000, which is their Gardenwood new construction type development. So the two proposals are Orchid Lake. Mr. Jason Larson of Housing Trust Group presented a proposal for Orchid Lake, which has been brought to you before. It is a 96-unit rental senior housing development on the southeast corner of Cocoa Lakes and Michigan Avenue. And then our second proposal is Retreat at Cocoa Commons. Mr. Gabe Eichstein of Arbor Valley Communities, he's presenting a proposal for also 96 senior units. And those parcels are located just west of Cocoa Commons and State Road 524. And they both have PowerPoint presentations that they wanted to present each of the projects to you. And then I'll come back for staff recommendation. There's also cards.
Yes, I got
Mr.
Would you
Jason
all?
Larson from HTP.
Oh, okay. We got first, Ms. Miriam Moore. You want to go last? Okay, Mr. Jason Carson.
Good evening. My name is Jason Larson. I'm with Housing Trust Group. We're here asking for city support for Orchid Lakes 96-unit seniors development. We do have a PowerPoint. I don't know if,
You just have to.
is it here? All right, well, thank you. Once again, my name is Jason Larson. I'm with Housing Trust Group. We're an affordable housing developer located in Coconut Grove. We're here asking city support for Orchid Lake. It's a proposed 96-unit affordable rental community for seniors. Just a little about us, Housing Trust Group. We've been in business for 20 years. We're a fully integrated team. We do in-house construction, development, and project management. We're also long-term owners of all of our developments. We've developed over 7,000 units, mostly in the state of Florida, and mostly affordable housing. For the past 5 years, we've been very successful in getting these developments funded. It's highly competitive. We've been rated #1 affordable housing developer in Florida, number 19 overall in the United States. We utilize all sorts of financing for affordable housing, 9% tax credits, 4% tax credits, HUD financing, public-private partnerships. In 2016, we were named one of the fastest growing companies, and in 2018, last year, we had 6 new communities funded by Florida Housing to develop this type of housing statewide. We've done business all over the state of Florida. This is a representation of some of the developments we've done. South Florida, Central Florida, North Florida. In fact, we have a development in Titusville right now that is seniors housing, 86 units, funded with the type of financing that we're seeking for this development. It's located behind the Gibson Youth Center at DeLeon and Sycamore Street. And we should, it's under construction, and we should CO at the end of this year. We're excited about that. It's been well received. Huge demand for affordable housing in Brevard County. So again, we're proposing 96 units. It's affordable rental community for seniors. It has a total development cost of $19 million. It's financed with federal housing tax credits awarded through the State of Florida Allocating Agency, which is Florida Housing Finance Corporation. So the site is located at the southeast corner of Cocoa Lakes Drive and Michigan Ave. You see it there on the screen. It's the portion up there by the corner where the drop tin is. So we're proposing 2 buildings, 3 stories with elevators, and the buildings are set up for seniors with certain percentage of, full ADA compliant, roll-in showers, and full host of green features. Sample elevation of, something we might come in if we're successful in being funded. Interior hallways, elevators, controlled access to the building. So we have a full range of amenities, shuffleboard court, club room, swimming pool, exercise room. And our club rooms get a lot of use in our senior communities. We have a lot of activities. It's independent living, so we have a lot of active folks. The rental structure, so the way this works is it works under a rent control. And for 2019, the rental rates are as follows. So we'll have about 10% of the units set aside at very low incomes, which this year are 35%. So for a 1-bedroom, 60% area median income unit, our rental rate would be $636. For the 35% unit, $327. For our 2-bedroom units at the 60% rents, $768. And at the 35% rent, $396. So to qualify for residency, you just can't have an annual income above a certain amount, and it's based on the area median income of Brevard County. The 2019 Brevard County area median income is $65,900. They base that on a family of 4, and when folks apply with us, household size, there's an adjustment. If you're a 1-person household or a 2-person household, which we would expect in our seniors developments, for the 35% lower rental rate unit for a 1-person household, $16,170 would be the maximum income there. For a 2-bedroom, $18,480, and on the higher 60% AMI units, $27,720 annual income, and $31,680 for a 2-person household. So our request from the city is a loan in the amount of $354,000. It would be a second mortgage on the property, and it would be payable to the extent of available cash flow, and that's one of the requirements from our lender. So we'll have a first mortgage lender as well as an equity provider who will purchase the tax credits. And so the city's funding will be second loan position. So the benefits of city involvement. So if the city were to be involved, it greatly increases the chances of development being funded by the state. So this financing is highly competitive. There were over 200 applications statewide last year, and I think in total they funded 14. Mostly it comes down to a lottery number. But one thing the state has done, because they were getting a lot of input from local government saying, hey, we have developments we'd like to see happen in our community. We've got redevelopment plans. So the state came out with this program where if the local government wanted to participate with the development, either city or county, and provide a larger loan than you might normally see, that they would give a funding preference, and fund them in their own separate pool of developments. And they would compete with other cities or counties who have given the same loan. So last year there were about 20 cities and counties that had given these contributions for developments around the state. Brevard County competes in a pool of 26 counties for this financing. And last year, they selected 2 of those. So it was 2 out of 20, which it was much better odds than, let's say, 5 out of 200 in the regular pool. This year, and they're going to select 4 developments for the preference. There'll probably be some more municipalities that get interested in it, participate. So, last year there were 20 municipalities. There might be 30 municipalities, but it's still a much better chance of being funded, 4 out of 30 as opposed to, the balance, 5 or 7 out of 200. So if we're funded, and we'll come in with a full development submittal, it'll be affordable housing for seniors. State requires a deed restriction for a period of 50 years. So as part of our development, we pay the city and the county permit and impact fees. We estimate that at $592,000. There'll be water and sewer capacity and meter fees that are paid to the city of $290,000. There's real estate tax revenue of about $40,000 a year, we estimate, and then $70,000 a year in water and sewer services to the city. And then we have, third-party lawn care, repair and placement, pool maintenance, things like that. We estimate it like $56,000 a year. We employ 3 full-time persons for the city. And all of the fees, the water, sewer impact, and building permit fees will be paid to the city or the county prior to a certificate of occupancy. So all the funding to the city, comes up front, and the city would not have to fund its participation in the development until we were fully constructed and fully leased up. So there wouldn't be any construction risk or lease-up risk to the city. So this is just an example of the development that we're building in Titusville right now, Luna Trails, 86 units. It's with this 9% tax credit funding that we're seeking for this development. This was just a deal we submitted, and we got lucky with a lottery number, a good lottery number, and got it funded. That was in 2016.
Are those solar panels I see up top, or some kind of solar system?
No, that's just, we do a lot of green features, but the solar has been a little expensive to make work on this type development, but those are just some architectural features.
Okay, I was thinking there were solar, because I was
Right.
on discussion today about solar that was providing, the outside lightings in hallways and
Right.
so forth, so, okay.
Yeah, we do a LEED rating on the building. It's part of the financing requirements, but it does stop short of some of the solar panels and things like that. And this is just an example of another development that we finished down in Pembroke Pines, Douglas Gardens Seniors, 110 units with the same funding source. And be happy to answer any questions you've got, and we appreciate your consideration.
I mean, looking at the numbers, it's a great return on our investments, and also it's a great benefit to our seniors with reference to low-income housing, and the fact that that money would be returned to us over a period of time.
And we do have one similar development that has a, 2.5 year waiting list
Yeah.
for occupancy, so it's definitely a need in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know this particular site we've been working on for, over 3 years. So I know we've submitted a couple times, and originally when we had got the site under contract, the Clear Lake Isles deal was still under construction, and the state agency has a rule that you have to wait until it's completed until you can apply for another one. So we weren't able to apply that year, but we'd come back, and the city staff's been great, has been very supportive. And, there's such a huge need, especially for affordable housing, that, 2 year.
Well, and knowing what a success Clear Lake Isles has been and what a wonderful development is, makes it much more attractive to move forward with another similar project.
Are those windows hurricane windows?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, everything's up to the, latest hurricane code, and it's hurricane windows. So,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Oh, so you want to get some direction from us?
We
Oh,
also
we
have
got a
the
couple of
second
cards here
applicant,
too.
I'm
Let me
sorry.
go ahead and, we have, what's his, Greg, Stoll, is that right? Yeah, okay.
Mayor, is it possible that we have the other applicant present first before we have
Oh,
the
yes, sir.
resident
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
as
I'm
well?
sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, sir.
I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Gabe, Aaronstein.
It's a difficult last name.
I was getting there. I was
But,
just trying to figure it out.
I appreciate it. Now, the technology. Let's see.
Thank you, sir.
Here comes IT to help. Thank you.
It works. Hi, my name is Gabe Aaronstein. I'm with Arbor Valley Communities. I'm at 6340 Via Tierra in Boca Raton, Florida. Hello. It's working okay, I think. Can I just push any button with the white mouse? Or just tap? Or use that one? Okay. Thank you. Yes, hello again. I'm at 6340 Via Tierra, Boca Raton, Florida. My company's headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama. Before I get started on this, I just want to make one small point. Like Jason, I stand in front of a lot of city commissions, city councils, county commissions, you name it. I was struck by the passion that I heard from you in terms of what you can do with this community, the assets that you have in this community, the fact that this community is a gem that I've been coming to since I was a little boy, and I've always appreciated. Granted, I appreciate it because the waves are better here than they are in South Florida, but it is a unique community, and I can hear the pride that you all have in it and how you know what the problems are, and that's the first step in fixing them, knowing what they are. So I commend you for that, and I know the staff and your professionals are working very hard to make that happen. With that said, there are problems, there are issues. One of those is affordable housing and homelessness, especially among people who most deserve to not have those problems. The elderly, veterans, we need to fix it. We are here for the same reason. Jason and I, yes, we're competitors, friendly competitors. But the fact is, the way this program works, I'd love it if we could both work with you. It is a competitive process. You will not go wrong with HTG and with Jason. I have nothing but good things to say about them. That said, I'm here to advocate for our proposal, our community, on our site. What we're looking to do is extremely similar to what HTG is proposing. He's done a great job of explaining the Florida Housing Program with tax credits and the local government area of opportunity. In fact, maybe we should present together more often. But so I won't go through all those details again, although they're on this presentation too. So I'd like to focus a little bit more on the project and the site, because I think that is where you are going to be looking and comparing and making a decision. And do respect whatever that decision is. It is a competitive business. Who wins in a competition? The customer. Who's the customer here? You. So I want you to support one of these projects, and I want that project to win those tax credits, to get funded, and to get built in this community, because this community needs it. Just like Deputy Mayor said, there is no shortage of demand for this product in this community. So with that said, our overview, remarkably similar. I'll just point out a couple differences. We use a specific type of debt financing that works with seniors that are 62 and over rather than 55 and over. We like that for a couple reasons. A, that kind of debt financing is very competitive and cost effective for us. but also I feel that it targets more specifically the actual elderly. 55 plus, I'm 55. And I look at that number and I say, you know, I know there are 62-year-olds here who say, boy, I feel young too. But if I'm putting 62 and above in my community, I feel like I am targeting more the elderly. Whereas there are a lot of middle-aged folks, 55 or so, I don't know if I want them specifically to be in a seniors project. I like the 62 level for that reason. Everything else extremely similar. Our location is different, and I'll get to that in a second. And some amenities there, some characteristics of our location. We're on a site which is directly next to the Publix, the Cocoa Commons, and you may have heard of it before as the London Cove site or London Cove proposal or project that Dimitri is looking to do. Dimitri does want to do some commercial out parcels there. We would be directly behind those, fronting the preserve behind us. That preserve, as you know, is not going to be developed. It's going to be a very quiet, nice environment for seniors to enjoy. They will be able to walk to Publix. They will be able to walk to the amenities in Cocoa Commons. They will not have a railroad track. They will not have a very, very busy street that they're on. They will have a spine road between them and the out parcels in front of them. The busy road, 524, is going to be in front of those out parcels. So I humbly feel that this is an excellent and frankly superior location. But that is, again, both locations are great. We like ours. A couple amenities to point out here. Obviously, you know where the Publix is, the bank, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need to tell you about your area. It's a general conceptual layout of our site plan. Once again, similar. Elevator served, 3-story buildings with a clubhouse, community room, plenty of green space. I want to point out, we are not putting a very intense use on this piece of property. If you look to the west side of the property, that's all our property, that's all our land. It's all preserved, green, quiet space. It's not depicted here, but there will be a walking trail around the property as well for the seniors to, focus on wellness and enjoy the environment. Elevations here, we do, you might know this, I know staff certainly does, that we have a 35-foot height restriction there. Typically, we would do more of a pitched gable type of roof, but we can easily do a more low slope roof, which is frankly going to give it a little more of a modern look. But other than that, 3-story elevation, your typical siding, and a very attractive elevation. I want to point out not what you've already heard, which is all excellent information, but what's a little different about us here. We use a technique which is very new. We're one of the first people to use it, called income averaging. As Jason pointed out, we have to rent to people making 60% or below of the area median income. And typically you'll have some very low income people at 35%, and you'll have the 60%. And that best positions us to get the funding that we need from Florida, the award that we need at Florida Housing. Income averaging allows us to rent to people making slightly more than 60% and also slightly less than 35%. I like that very much. That, to me, not only enables us to hit the sweet spot of the 60% and below, but there are plenty of seniors who make just more than 60%, a little bit, but not enough to afford really quality market rate housing. So, by using this technique, we're able to rent to people up to 80%. Not all our units, just a few of them, but making up to 80% of the area median income. By the same token, to balance that out, we also have to allocate units to people making 30%. So that gets us down into an area where we can really help people who are struggling. 35% is low, 30% is even lower. That's a wider band than your typical 80%, or than your typical 60% and 35%. And that's why we like doing that. recreational space, ADA, up to code, again, similar, I don't have to go through it, you've seen it. Departure point was the 62 plus for the ages of our folks. I'll point out here the veterans. We do focus on veterans. I think that it's very important in this community. That is an issue near and dear to me. I'm an Air Force veteran. I like taking care of these folks. They deserve it. And so we partner with VASH, and our recent development in Gainesville, as a matter of fact, has nearly half the people in there across from Shands are veterans. So that makes us feel good. Talked about the income averaging and who we're targeting. Just a couple examples of representative amenities. They're all very nice, just like you'll see in any HTG development, you'll see in ours. We will do whatever our resident requires in terms of wellness, community services, local transportation, community gardens. We have gardening classes. We'll bring professionals in and sit with them, yoga, exercise, you name it. These places are beautiful, whether they're built by me or by Jason. The fact that we can provide low-income seniors with this is a wonderful thing and a great aspect of this program. Nice interior features, et cetera, et cetera. The Gainesville development, you can see at the top left there, that's also was a unique kind of construction there. It was, frankly, had hardly ever been done. It's a 5-story building, wood frame over concrete podium in Gainesville. That's directly across from Shands, and it leased up before it was completed. There's a very, very long waiting list there, as you were talking about the need. We'll do 2-story buildings, 3-story buildings. We've done higher, obviously. Mr. Mayor, you were asking about solar panels. We've done them, okay? Granted, Jason's absolutely right. It is extremely difficult to do in this kind of development. What you're looking at there is something that we did in a market rate development. That's not affordable housing, so we had a little bit more money to play with. But it's a technology we've used. We've used it to offset the carbon footprint and to help out our overall electric and energy costs. We've put that project up and running, and it's providing a return right now. I alluded to the wellness and community services, et cetera, the folks that we partner up with. These are all agencies that we work with now. And we will do the same thing here with the appropriate agencies as well. Whether they're Miriam's or any of the other cooperating agencies that we can partner with. Harbors of Tumbling Creek, this was the Gainesville we have spoken about. I want to mention one more thing here too. I mentioned to you that Cocoa is a place I've been coming to as a kid. We're out of the office building business now, but there was a time when we were pretty heavily into it. There's an office building down in Merritt Island. We called it Merritt Square, but you might know it as the SunTrust building or the old Merrill Lynch building. It's on 520, and we owned that building for about 20 years. We recently sold it, but that gave us an opportunity to spend a lot of time up here. So the issues that you speak of, I am familiar with, I understand them, I know this community, and I have a commitment to this community. I'd like to also point out that we are in the midst right now of the development process for a market rate project that's down the street from this one. And that's on 524, an area that we've heard tonight has some challenges, but needs something to put it over the top. So we're looking at doing 280 plus units of market rate apartments, not low income housing tax credit stuff, but market rate apartments, because we think that this community has the people, has the incomes, has the commuters that right now They're going down to Vieira. You don't want them to go to Vieira. You want them living here. You want them spending money here. That's going to be a place for them to do it. It's down the street from our Retreat at Cocoa Commons site. It'll give us economies of scale. And we're very much looking forward to working with staff and getting to the next step on the arbors at Cocoa Landing, which, by the way, will not just be market rate apartments. There's a second phase, which is going to be townhomes. So it's a phased situation that we will have rental housing, possibly for sale townhomes after that. No surprise, it's the same $354,000. That's because that's a mandated amount from Florida Housing. We're asking for the same thing. Maybe the loan will be structured a little bit differently. Those are all details that can be worked out. But it's the same thing. And just regrettably, Florida Housing is mandating that as the local government, you pick one to support. As Jason said, there is still a pool after that. We could still apply if we are not the selected one, but the odds are extremely low. And as you said, you just kind of have to get lucky. We get lucky, they get lucky, but if we really want to make one of these happen, the best way to do it is by getting designated as the LGAO, Local Government Area of Opportunity application, and having you put that financial support behind it. Just a quick overview for us, we do all the same stuff. Construction, management, back rehab, affordable and market rate, we do a bit more of that. We just look to do our job really, really well. We're active in this state, but also in others as well throughout the Southeast. We've done multifamily, single family. We have an appreciable number of units throughout the state, not quite as many as HTG. We are long-term owners, and we manage all our projects in-house. And that's us. So I really appreciate you listening. Whatever you decide, it will be the best for the community, and I really hope that one of the projects that you select is the one that wins at Florida Housing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Any questions?
Not yet.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Stolz? No, wait a minute. No, just joking.
Hello, my name's Greg Stoll, 2203 Salem Drive, Cocoa, Florida. Thank you, gentlemen. Good presentations. When can I move in? Okay. But one thing to note real quick, I'll use my 3 minutes real quick. This would be a stepping stone to independent, then assisted, then nursing care, right? So me, what I would be worried about is running out of money when it come time for one of them other ones, depending on how much rent was, you know? So that's something to consider. But I certainly wish you guys luck on your lottery, and this looks really nice to Cocoa. 524 locations, really good location unless you're the Gopher tortoises who happen to live there, but you'll have to relocate those. But Mr. Utilities Director, I am concerned about the pedestrian crosswalk at Michigan that crosses the railroad tracks that is closed, which would prevent me from going from the Michigan location to the convenience store. And I'm sure, along with the railroad, you're looking at all of those railroad crossings, correct?
Public Works.
That would be Public Works.
Yeah.
Public Works, okay.
Yes.
So anyway, that would be my concern, is that crossing, which has been closed for a while now, right? So and then along with that, we better start looking at all of the crossings. I don't know who's responsible for those.
We're working with
Virgin, USA, or whoever they are this week. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Marion Moore.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak for a minute. I did come here with Jason. It was a pleasure to meet you as well. I represent the Brevard Homeless Coalition. Rob Cramp, the Executive Director of Housing for Homeless, wanted to be here tonight, but he had a board meeting and was unable to make it. Senior living is a critical component in preventing homelessness of our elder citizens, and we've seen a big increase in that recently in Brevard County. People in the workforce are struggling to make ends meet. So our people who are on fixed incomes really have problems when rents keep going up. Our seniors don't have an opportunity to increase their income. My own mother's rent went up $150 in June. And being the proud woman she is, she requested a ride to and a list of local food pantries from me rather than allowing me to help her financially or be forced to move at 79 years of age, because it means losing what independence that she has left. She's still able-bodied, so she hasn't driven since 2004, and she still has that component. She doesn't want to have to leave. So one day, God willing, we'll all be able to enjoy our golden years. I'm supporting this and all affordable housing initiatives within the city of Cocoa throughout Brevard County. That will provide our seniors with safe, affordable, and permanent housing, and I ask that you support these initiatives as well.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, and I guess we're gonna have to decide
I would like to,
what you'd like to go with.
I'd like to hear some input from staff personally.
I would like to table this item until we get some, I didn't know anything about this, that we're gonna have two different, gentlemen up here. And I think I'd like some time to discuss this situation with the staff before we make any decisions.
Well,
That's my opinion.
the application
Yeah.
cycle ends November 5th, so they would have to actually turn in their
Yeah, but we
application
could set
before
up
the
a
next.
meeting with the staff
We
and,
don't have another council.
Well, no
Yeah, we
time.
don't have
Correct.
another meeting.
And although we really feel that, I've talked with the city manager in depth about this, we also met with Mr. Larson. We just did not have time with the city manager going out of town
Okay.
to meet with Arbor Valley, but we did meet with Mr. Larson, Rob Cramp, and Dr. Miriam Moore on their project at Orchard Lake. So they're both very similar. There are some differences as far as the location. Arbor Valley is close to the Publix. They can actually walk from there. And then Orchid
I
Lake
like
is
the 524 because it's convenient for the seniors to walk over to the public shopping center and the stores, and the drugstore is right there also. And I think that would be more convenient traffic-wise, because eventually they could have a golf cart taken from the housing development to Publix if they had to. That's my opinion.
And I'll tell you that I like the other location. And the reason being is that you don't have all that traffic there. And with all the growth going on 524,
Yeah, but this is, they wouldn't have to go on the road to go to Publix. They could go one on the side.
yeah, well,
That's my
I'm
opinion.
just,
Well,
that's just my
opinion.
opinion, so. Councilman Goins.
Staff recommendations on this item.
Staff is recommending to approve HTG's project at Orchid Lake. Again, like I said, we would support both projects if we could. Unfortunately, with this, similar to like Clear Lake Isles, we could provide the $50,000 fee waiver, and the city could provide that to all of the applicants, and then whoever ended up getting the award would receive it. But with this process, we were only allowed one.
Okay.
And so,
We can always get one.
Is both apartments of wood frame as well?
mhm.
They're both nice projects, it just. Deputy Mayor?
I don't think I don't think we can go wrong with either project. Both companies have a good track record. I personally, I live very near the railroad tracks in Michigan Avenue. And probably the worst thing about living that close to US 1 and the railroad tracks is the constant noise. And with Brightline coming along, and I realize that I voted to support Brightline, but I'm really not looking forward to the extra noise. getting woken up at 2 in the morning by a train is not the most pleasant thing. That would probably be my one reason for supporting the 524 development. The second being that this is a company that's also invested in our community in market rate development as well. So that would be my preference, only because of the noise and of the market rate development. Like I said, I don't think we can go wrong with either project. I look forward to the lottery and seeing one of these developments win. I would like to ask Nancy, if we support one project and another project just happens to win, can we change our mind?
And also, even with that local government contribution, the other applicant, like let's say you chose one, the other applicant could potentially still win have a low lottery number and still be awarded funding.
Right.
And knock the other one out. So
Okay.
it really is based on the lottery number.
Yeah. Okay.
You do, wait till the lottery number comes in and see what.
No.
No, you got to do it
There's
now.
a form that has to be signed by the
Not
mayor.
that easy.
and submitted with the application.
Too easy.
That'd be too easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be way too easy. Like I said, I don't think we can lose with either project, and it's not easy to make a decision like this, but I am going to make a motion that we support the project on 524.
That's Arbor Valley.
Yes.
Second.
We got a motion from Deputy Mayor Warner, a second from Councilman Bover. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Is she
3-1.
gone?
3-1?
She's on.
No,
No,
Councilwoman Acosta's gone.
Yep.
So it's a 3-1. Yeah, you can. You do it all the time.
3-1.
3-1. I will be keeping my fingers crossed for both of you guys.
You both get the lottery, and then you can both go. We can use it, because we got a lot of people that, and it was nothing personal. I live in, that's my district.
And his kids want him to get out of his manufacturing home.
Okay, you got this next item, or
No.
Jolie Smith?
No, Assistant City Manager.
Assistant City Manager, I'm sorry.
All right, this next item is to provide staff direction on the reconstruction of the Dr. Jolie Smith swimming pool. Just by providing a little bit of background, it was part of the scope of the project to resurface that pool over at Jolie Smith Park. It is really the only remaining public swimming pool in the city of Cocoa now that the Pineda Pool has been closed. The Y is no longer operational, although not a public pool. They did offer free swimming lessons. So the Dr. Jolie Smith pool is the only one remaining. There's essentially two options. There's been, for a long period of time, there's been an issue with the kiddie pool on the side due to the chemical recirculation. There's not a direct treatment to that pool. So if those chemicals go out of balance, they have to shut that pool down for an hour's, or actually until they can get a certified operator to review the chemical and make the treatment, and then it sits for an hour before it's usable. So on a typical day, you've pretty much lost that day. That pool is operated by Brevard County Parks and Rec, and the kiddie pool itself doesn't have an actual lifeguard assigned to it. It's still the lifeguard for the main pool. There's just a requirement that the adults are present in the kiddie pool with the children. Now, according to Brevard County Parks and Rec staff, there's pretty low usage of that pool due to the fact that most of the children utilizing the pool are unaccompanied by an adult during the summer months when they use the pool. There's a similar, almost in the exact specifications, pool in Rockledge at McClarty Park. They just recently this summer reconstructed that pool. They had the same issue with the kiddie pool. They eliminated it and made a viewing deck for the parents, or it's also a facility now for rental, for birthday parties, because you can now have food and drink on that deck where the pool is. And so they chose to go that route. We were presented with that information from the county, and so we wanted to bring it to you all. And you can see in the item, there is a difference in cost, essentially for that kiddie pool reconstruction. The difference is about $61,000. So the total cost to resurface the pools and repair them as is about $223,665. And then if you were to eliminate the kiddie pool, it's $165,951.50. Weighing both options, there can be pros and cons. With the difference in the dollars, the city could look at what they're doing in McClarty Park. They're adding a pool heater. They're going to be, so they could enhance the usage throughout the year rather than just the summer months. So you could enhance the use for those that are a little bit older in that area of the pool, or continue as is. So be happy to answer any questions.
So eliminate the kiddie pool and enhance the, install the heating system. It's in the years, but, Deputy Mayor Warner.
I agree with the mayor. If parents are not participating, the kiddie pool is being wasted, and if putting a facility in that would allow families to have parties there, birthday parties, allow them to have better use of the pool and get some heat for the seniors who might want, now that we're actually putting amenities in Jolie Smith for the seniors, we can maybe encourage our seniors to use that pool, because there's really nothing better when you're a senior than pool exercise, let me tell you. It's the best exercise there is, so maybe having the pool heated would encourage that, and because the seniors can be in that pool while the kids are in school, so yeah, I'd be all for that. That, to me, that's a better use of the pool and the funding than the kiddie pool, definitely.
Yeah, I know where I live, we have our pool heated and the water is 86 degrees, and it's good for senior citizens. Not that I'm one, but, the people that use it. But, I think we should go ahead with the mayor and Brenda said, and
Well, only thing I would disagree with, this would be the only kiddie pool probably within, maybe 20 miles?
I don't even know if Titusville has
Titusville doesn't have
outside of
one.
that. I mean,
Okay, so I guess I look at, sometimes you have to make an investment for future generations as well. Yeah, I might need that pool. Well, my cousin died, and he was 5 years old. This was 2 years ago. I think he was at a birthday party or something, and he died by drowning. So I do understand about the financial situation, but like I said, it would be the only kiddie pool within X amount of miles, and most of the time the kiddie pools is the first opportunity for those little ones to learn how to swim. I do believe that Brevard County Parks and Recs programming is absolutely horrible when it comes down to pools. There's no reason why it should be only in the summertime. So the programming is the issue with encouraging swim classes and things of that nature. They just really open it up when the kids are out of school, and they just open the gates, and that's pretty much it. So the participation is not there because the programming is not there. If the programming was there, I believe they would participate a little bit more. That's what my personal opinion. But I do understand about finances. I get it. I'm frugal in my life as well, so I understand. But that's my only thing about the kiddie pool. It's the only one around.
But this is, for me, it's not about finances. I was on the board with the YMCA. And when they were teaching the infants how to swim, they taught them in that Olympic-style swimming pool, not a kiddie pool.
Yep.
And it was amazing watching it. you know, and I would sit out there and watch them. It was just much easier for them to assist the kids in swimming in a regular sized pool than, and like I said, this is an Olympic style swimming pool that they had them in. And there was a lot of babies out there, and it was incredible.
Yeah, there's no shallow
Yeah,
end in that pool at the
no,
Y, yeah.
So kiddie pools are nice.
Right.
It just becomes more of a, you know, some parents, you know, dropping their older kids off with
Yeah,
the
it
little
happens,
kids and saying, hey, go play in the kiddie pool, you know. And
I agree.
it's become a liability, but money, I mean, money's no issue when it's coming to kids as far as I'm concerned, but
Well, I got a question.
it's
So,
just something I've seen, you know, at the Y.
so we do away with the kiddie pool. Can we have this conversation with Brevard County Parks and Recs about their programming? Because if you're going to invest $68,000 in a heater for the pool, the programming has to do better. It cannot be just for the summertime. So that's because we wouldn't need, if it's only open in the summertime, we wouldn't need a heat for the pool. So
No, this is extend the use.
Yeah.
it should
with the
extend the
heaters, yeah.
program. If we invest $68,000, they should be able to extend the program like it should be. So
Like I said, that program should not just, I mean, we have some seniors in this community who could learn to swim,
yes,
you know, so it does need to be not just lessons for children, but adult lessons as well. I
Yes.
mean, we lost a resident not too long ago because he couldn't swim, and he was an adult, so we definitely need to expand that program, and a heated pool would definitely go a long way towards allowing that to happen.
I agree. I mean, I think bringing the new center there brings some additional uses. That could be one of them, and I think that brings some new opportunities as well as swimming. But we will have that conversation with Brevard County. I can take that as your consensus, and then we can proceed forward with the construction.
Okay.
All right, sir.
It'll be ready for next summer.
All right.
Good job. Okay, we're gonna move on to city business.
No,
it's
we
not
need one.
motion,
It's just a
a-
consensus.
we can move on to city business, number 9-1, Public Works Director.
Yes, Mayor and Council, staff's requesting to approve a budget resolution amending the fiscal year 2020 budget to transfer funds from stormwater utility contingency to stormwater infrastructure. This would be for the implementation of the Fisk Broadmoor improvements, water quality, item number 15, floating wetlands and stormwater ponds, and the remaining account balance to water quality project number 20, which is DMUC and Dredge State Road 520 relief channel. When the budget was submitted, the CIP wasn't yet approved. The stormwater utility system fundings wasn't approved, so the money was put in contingency. Now we know what our projects are, so we want to move from contingency and put money in those projects so they can start being implemented.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
We get a motion from Deputy Mayor Warner, a second from Councilman Bover. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 2, Public Works.
Yes, item 2 is requesting approval for the city to apply for Save Our Indian River Lagoon grant funds in the amount of $66,276,000 to implement water quality projects in the 10-year stormwater work plan. Sorrel has an open window now for grant funding, so we would like to apply for some grants. It's not a real high percentage, but every dollar helps. So.
Every little bit helps.
second.
We get a motion from Councilman Bover, a second from Councilman Goins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Item number 3, which is Public Works Director.
Yes, sir. Requesting approval for the city to apply for a 2019 Managing Community Forest Grant Program in the amount of $55,000. And this is a matching grant, so the city is agreeing to commit $55,000 towards the match requirements in the application to conduct a tree inventory, establish an urban forest master plan, and undertake a planting project to meet goals identified in the master plan over a 3-year period. In addition, there's a second grant that we're requesting application approval to apply for a 2019 Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program in the amount of $20,000, and also we would have to commit to a $20,000 match towards the match requirements to perform a tree survey of the City of Cocoa Urban Forest. Both of these are matching grant funds. If we do receive the funds, the city would be obligated to spend the money, which we don't currently have budgeted. So,
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Deputy Mayor Warner. The chair will second that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously. Item number 4.
again,
You trying to clear your desk off, Ed? Is
yeah,
that what you're
I'm
doing?
trying to get my desk
Trying
cleared
to
off.
clear the desk off.
Trying to make it work in the last meeting.
Requesting approval of a resolution to authorize the City of Cocoa to apply for a FEMA hazard mitigation grant through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program under Hurricane Michael, FEMA 4399 DRFL, and this is for slope reinforcement at 859 Indian River Drive. If you drive down Indian River Drive, there's a section of guardrail that looks like someone was drinking when they put it in. It was put in straight, and through the years, the subsidence of the ground has kind of pulled that guardrail. The next thing to go is the curb, and right after that is the road. So we're looking for, this is a 75-25 grant through FEMA. The city would fund $25,000 approximately. FEMA would fund $75,000, and it would protect that area of the slope.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion from Councilman Bover, a second from Deputy Mayor Warner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You
And
got
item-
somewhere to be?
Yeah.
Okay. Item number 5.
Item number
Mr.
5, this is to request approval of a resolution to authorize the city manager to execute FEMA hazard mitigation grant applications through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for Hurricane Irma, FEMA 4337 DRFL for drainage projects on Fisk and Broadmoor, and also for a utilities project to reconstruct lift station number 1. This was approved approximately a year ago. However, there was not a resolution as part of it, so we have to come back and have council approve a resolution. So
Thank you, sir.
these have been applied for. They were actually applied for in August of 2018, so it's been over a year. We've just, on the Fisk and Broadmoor, heard from FEMA. They're starting to work on this, and they go, oh, you need a resolution. So we're here tonight to get that done.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
We get a motion from Councilman Bover.
Second.
Second from Councilman Goins. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 6, a multi-year contract to Utilities Director.
Yes, sir, thank you, Mayor. Item 6, award bid number B-20-04-COC, lift station number 2, panel rehab, project WS-20ST to Parkett Construction of West Melbourne, Florida, the amount of $148,000, and to approve a multi-year contract, 2020 through 2021, and to approve a resolution authorizing city manager to approve and execute change orders in the amount not to exceed $22,320 or 15% of the contract value for a total project cost of $171,120.
Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve.
We get motion from Deputy Mayor Warner.
Second.
Second from Councilman Bover. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And also, that was our last item, and of course, you got your information agenda there. And but before we go up, I'm gonna, Ms. Shealy, I'm gonna make sure that you all get a copy of this. This is from Habitat.
Okay.
People know them for building homes where they actually do rehabs and replacing roofs and so many other things. And we're gonna make sure that we get this on our website and all the criteria with all the contact information, so. Cause there's been a lot of folks asking about something like this, so, thank you, ma'am.
Motion is adjourned.
We got a motion adjourned by Councilman Bover.
Second.
Second from Councilman Goins. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?